Mhm.
Hi, this is Sarah, and today Vlora is sharing bravely into 2021. Hi, Vlora.
Hi. Thank you
So,
for
why,
inviting me.
why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and also a little bit, obviously, where you are and where you're from originally? That would be cool.
Okay. So, who am I? Well, where am I right now? I'm right now living in Portugal. I was born and raised in Germany, and my parents are from Kosovo, so I have quite of some cultures living through, let's say. Exactly. And what I do right now, I'm working full time on a platform to share resources with each other. Exactly. So this is basically what I'm working on right now in terms of sustainability a bit to bring it back to the world. Yes, and what else? I create podcasts with a friend about personal development and spirituality, those topics. We read books and we talk about it. We have also really nice guests who are into that topic as well. And just to share a bit with the world some insights that we thought is interesting, think it's interesting to implement in your life and help you a bit flow through life better. Yeah. And
cool.
I like to it's flowing as well, which I enjoy also in my day-to-day life, which is like a bit surfing and enjoying the sun a bit. So I decided to live here in Portugal, in a small town next to Lisbon, which is very calming and nice. So
Wow. Lots of, well, this is what I love about you, is your energy. But say a bit more. How can people describe yourself in a way that the listeners can really get to know you and what's important to you?
So what's important for me? For me, it's important, freedom, naturality. Can you say it like this? Natürlichkeit is in German, yeah.
Authenticity almost, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, exactly. Okay, yes. Sustainability, like trying to, I'm saying that really trying to, because sometimes I catch myself as well. I'm like, Vlora, this is not sustainable, but at least I get the awareness at that moment and I'm in the stance of this. Living with ease, like I don't think everything needs to be hard. It can be also, like you can see it in another way. And love in some way, like every time for me a question that helped me in life is like, what would love do now, which is really, it gave me a lot of decisions where I didn't know which side to go, and this question brings me back every time. So yeah, that's, maybe it helps a bit more.
Yeah, I love the way you bring your values in, because obviously it's part of what's important to me. But you talk about ease, you talk about flow, and how have you used those in terms of what you're building in your business?
Yeah, well, for example, for me, ease and freedom and flow in terms of being able to live where you feel the most alive, and just this sense of like not having to go to an office. You can obviously, but this way of freedom and ease, this is how one thing to implement it. How we implemented it in either the podcast or as well at Acht Sachen, at the platform. Ease is that as well, like giving the flexibility of, for example, my friend that I'm doing the podcast with, she right now has twins, and it's a bit different for her, or difficult for her, obviously, to now time management, to just say, hey, we committed 1 year ago that we're going to do the podcast every 2 weeks. We can change. Like, we don't need to, we can say, no, now we're committing every month. So don't be so hard on yourself. And then when it's like, you don't need to, always stick to the same rules that you make for yourself. I'd say this flexibility and ease. sustainability, well, this way, for me, like sharing resources, well, sharing knowledge, and also like growing sustainable is also a big part as well, because a few years ago I also started a business here in Lisbon, and I could see myself like there was not a sustainable growth at all, because let's say like it was more about growing fast, and also being an accelerator program where like obviously there's a different dynamic where it's like we need investment, we need to grow fast, scalability, which is one side, and I understand like this is really interesting. It's some part, but for me, I was not ready and to understand that, and that I want to also like grow at the same time as a person, sustainable with the business together. So yeah, this is.
So what did you learn from that experience of starting one startup?
I learned that, yeah, to give myself, definitely, like this was one of the biggest learn, to give myself some breaks to recharge, and to yeah, this was because I really was what I loved doing what I was doing, but I did that so much that I all of a sudden didn't feel like doing it anymore. I remember waking up, I was like, I don't feel like even listening about this topic anymore. And I remember Googling, is it normal that you don't feel like doing your project anymore? And I saw some videos, and it really like helped me to calm down and be like, okay, this is normal, but how can I not, like, how can this be overcome? And now what I did as well, like with Acht Sachen on Thursdays is my day of me having other things, like other projects, things I like. I did one over a year ago, a yoga teacher training in India, which was really nice also. And I was like, I want to implement this also in my life. It's a completely different side, but it gives me balance. So I allowed myself to have one day a week, a completely different topic, and which I discussed also with my colleagues, and they were like, yeah, sure, everybody has their own, you know, they created a family, and now they have different things, so they also take their time there. So for me, it's a different part, and allowing that for myself was a big thing from the first, a big change from the first project to this one, for the second startup.
So this is something I'm hearing from you, something you're allowing yourself. So I'm kind of leading into this. So where is it you're still too hard on yourself? Where is it you can't laugh at?
Can't laugh. It's a good question. Well, one thing I can really say is like when somebody else in the team is, and now I'm getting better at it, but I could tell that when somebody else is working or doing something, it's really hard for me to relax. So when I don't tell myself that the other person is as well relaxing or doing something else, I'm like, I feel like I need to help in some way. So to relax while the other person is doing something is really for me a big. I'm still learning. This is
learning to allow other people to do what they're good at and trust in the process that
yes,
it
true.
will be okay.
Yes, and let go. Somehow, maybe it's also control. I'm not sure, but
also it's the other side of freedom, isn't it? Allowing freedom for yourself, but also allowing freedom for other people.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so what happens with values. It's great. Mm-hmm. So if you were going to look back on the last 12 months since you've obviously founded this new business, what is it that you wish you'd have known when you started this business that you've got now?
Well, that well, I wish it would known. Well, what we did, we created really big, like really fast GmbH. It's like a bigger company with more like capital. Exactly. I wouldn't have done that now again. I would start like small and be like, see if it grows, and not like give myself the pressure from the beginning. Like of course it's nice to have on the other side you're expecting something, but that you're like, okay, I'm already bringing the pot here and waiting for it to come. But that was one part. what I would change as well was to be already how do you say it? Like, this is right now really a lot in terms of team, let's say, already understanding like who has which role. Like, of course there's in the beginning like a lot of like overlappings, but still like I could tell that in the beginning a lot of times it was like somebody was doing that, but the other person felt in charge of it, and then we had a lot of like dynamics. They were like, okay, why are you doing this now? This is my presentation, let's say, like, that I started. Why are you like working on it now? And it's like it would, I think, a lot of discuss maybe would have been solved by already like giving some hats out, like you're in charge of this, and take your responsibility for some parts of the company. And I think one part is well, it's a learning still, and I still not having a solution for that. Like, is start like with the understanding, like or accepting that not everybody has maybe the same. I can tell, like, for example, for me, or for anybody who has maybe a project and thinks like, wow, this is really nice, like you can bring sustainability or like yeah, into people's lives, and you get excited about that because you're like, and somebody else is not, and you're like, why? And you don't understand, and you get frustrated about it. Like, not expecting that everybody does it maybe in their own ways. So it's nothing, not taking it personal. Maybe it's also a big part. Yeah.
So not everybody has to like what you're doing, and that's okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. I like it. So tell us a bit more about the business. What is it? What would be your, what's your vision with what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, well, the vision is that, that we all are open to share everyday things with each other. Like, we share resources with each other. This is like basically the main thought. Like, we're doing already a lot of things, which is like, well, you can see it with Airbnb and things like that, obviously. And also that is one part that sometimes not scares, but like sometimes I'm like, let's say, Airbnb went to some different parts that I wouldn't agree upon now, but I don't think their intention was to go to where they are now. So the intention for me is that we use the resources that we have already. We don't produce much more because we don't, in some cases, we don't really need it, and we share with each other. So in that sense, that's basically that we are more and more open to sharing with each other. This is now things. For you, it's like, as you say, sharing maybe also your story. There's like sharing everyday items and so that's basically, I can see that, for example, for me, it's like normal tomorrow that, I want to, I don't know, try a new camera. I'm just gonna go and use it that day, and I don't need to buy it and have it in my home 12 months, 364 days, and we're using it one day, and the other person maybe cannot afford it. Why not share it? So this is basically the idea behind it.
So tell us about the surfboards behind you.
Yeah, these are the ones that two of them. This is one that I ride in the summer. And this is right now also actually doing that as well with suddenly trying to share also surfboards with each other. But these boards are a very nice part of my life right now, being back here in Portugal and enjoying the waves and enjoying and learning to ride on them and not fight them.
So I'm sure I'm kind of getting the idea of where this is going, but what is it that nurtures you? How do you keep yourself balanced when you've got, your business, your podcast? What is it you do? You've mentioned yoga, surfing.
Yes. Yoga, surfing, reading. I just got a hammock last week, so I'm super excited about that. Meditation. I do tennis once a week, so I'm really just trying to not it's like a big playground somehow, that I feel sometimes that I like, I have the surfboards here, so when I feel that day to go out and I don't know, have a different kind of energy from the ocean, I go out, then I have starting with the guitar a bit more, and then music. So it's a lot of things. I cannot really say one or the other, but I feel like I created myself a little playground where every day I can go there. So what do I feel like doing today to like relax? So I'm like, oh, this feels good today, so I use this. So.
I love that. You've created yourself a playground. So often as we grow older, we kind of lose the ability to play. And this is great. Sort of, yes, actually, I've created a playground. I've got this and I've got this. I'm laughing because I asked my daughter the other day to find her skipping rope because I love skipping, and she's hidden it from me. Just silly things like that for me. It just, it's something I really enjoy doing.
Yes. Exactly.
So yeah, cool. Having a bit of fun with it all along the way. So what's your one wish for yourself for 2021?
For 2021, my one wish for myself. It's a good question. To integrate also my playground into my, maybe, because I keep it really distant in terms of like business, can I say? Like, I'm not sure I explained. So maybe find an integration into both. So it doesn't need to be just one or the other. Maybe also the playground can come into I don't know, like for example, now I'm yoga that I was doing for myself more, I'm integrating it more. So yeah, integrating also these two lives together a bit more.
I like it. Cool. And what's your one wish for the planet for 2021?
For the whole inner peace. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I feel that during the pandemic, a lot of people like went inward a bit more and maybe understood and learned also from themselves what they want. What their maybe dreams are, and like maybe also like to give themselves the peace that it's okay where they're right now, and like to start with that, maybe in a peace in some sense, and then more and more grow into doing things that they're not conditioned to, but that they feel like doing. That part I see it in my bubble, let's say, a lot. I don't know if it's all over, but in my bubble a lot of people are right now like really going inward, so it's very nice. So
cool. I like that. Yeah, this kind of almost trying to find the sense of purpose because of the space that's being created.
Yes.
So actually, what do I want if I've actually got to stop, which has happened to a lot of people? How does that
exactly?
What's the opportunity that holds for me? Cool.
Yes.
And what one change are you making to live more sustainably this year?
A change that I'm making. Well, in terms of creating a platform to actually give people the opportunity to share things with each other. This is one big part. Let's say. Other than that, just creating awareness a bit. We do also beach cleaning events with a friend of mine here. So this is also one part of like just showing or like creating awareness, let's say. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So helping locally.
Yes.
And also raising awareness around the topic.
Yes.
With other people. You're right.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot we can all do in that space, certainly. Okay, and what would be one motivational saying or book or podcast which you'd want to share with the listeners as to what others can benefit from and why?
Oh, a lot. It's really hard now. Well, one saying is remember what you wanted when, like, but what you already have, when you wanted what you already have. So it's like a really just being present and grateful for things that you're already having, that maybe 10 years ago, 1 year ago, like even 1 week ago, you were like, oh, I wish. So just in terms of gratefulness, it helps me a lot of times, just sit down and just see like what's around me right now. Books a lot. Like in our podcast, we talk about books, but The Four Agreements is one book that really was one, helped me. Well, not help me, but yeah, it is. I even have The Four Agreements written down here, which is it really helped me. So that is one book that is helped me not to take things very personal. Okay. That's really not making any assumptions, and understanding that your voice and your words are very powerful. And
definitely supportive for somebody who might even think about starting their own business.
Yeah. And podcasts, wow, there's a lot, but one person that helped, like, that is right now for me also very interesting is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think it's very interesting what he brings to the table in terms of findings, what actually is happening with the brain waves, and like just to understand a bit more the background behind it. I get it, like hearing it, but just to have the understanding and the background behind it.
Yes. Very cool. So what would be one last thing that you would like to share with our listeners?
One last thing. Enjoy the ride.
Very fitting with the surfboards in the back. I love that. Enjoy the ride. Yeah. And it is a ride. I say that with so many of the founders that I work with, it's a roller coaster.
It is.
If you're not enjoying the ride, then yes, it's kind of a matter of kind of zooming out occasionally, isn't it? Looking, like you're saying, at the bigger picture. What have you achieved? Because no, it's not going to be perfect all the time. And you can't have the good stuff without occasionally things going wrong. So
that's true. I love that. I see it sometimes like a game. Like, imagine you would play a video game and you would have no challenges. It would be like super boring, no? In some way.
You could get dumped at the first hurdle.
Yes.
Ever bite.
Yes, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here. So no.
Oh, I like that analogy. I can be using that one. Love it. Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for bringing your energy on board and sharing.
Thank you so much for inviting.
I can see that you're really trying to make the world a better place, and that's what this is all about. So appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.